And I'm Gemma Vaness.
So the Prime Minister is due to cast his vote in the next hour or so in his electorate of Cook in the south of Sydney. Scott Morrison insists the race has tightened and the election will be close.
A political reporter, Jade McMillan, has been covering the Prime Minister's campaign.
The Prime Minister started his last-minute trip to Tasmania by visiting a polling booth in Launceston in the marginal Labor seat of Bass.
Hello, how are you?
From there, Mr Morrison has headed to Devonport in another marginal Labor seat, this time Braddon, Bass and Braddon being two seats that the coalition is hopeful it might be able to pick up at this election. From there, Mr Morrison will come to Sydney, where he's expected to vote in his electorate of Cook before heading out across the city this afternoon to do some last-minute campaigning with other coalition MPs and candidates to try to convince voters that his party deserves another term in office. It has been a very fast-paced final week for the Prime Minister, visiting every state and territory except the Northern Territory since Monday. Polls have consistently pointed to a Labor victory tonight, and an election eve news poll shows that that remains the case, showing that Labor continues to lead the coalition 51.5 to 48.5% on a two-party preferred basis. The Prime Minister says that things have tightened. He insists that the election will be close.
I think it will be a long night of counting. I've always said this election is going to be close. 5 weeks ago, people weren't saying that. I've always known it to be the case because Australians take their decision and their choice very seriously.
More than 4 million people had already cast their votes before polling stations opened today. 700,000 of those cast their ballots yesterday, and the Electoral Commission has warned that that could complicate the counting process and it could be a long night ahead.